So around 4 months ago now, I made an air dribble tutorial that focuses on off-the-wall air dribbles. Although going up the sidewall is a very common way of starting your air dribble, I would argue that especially in higher level play, you see a lot of players starting their air dribbles off when the ball is even slightly bouncing off the ground or even from the roof of their car. So if you haven't guessed already, today's tutorial is going to be about how to air dribble from the ground. Now, I'll be going over both of these methods, one being when the ball is bouncing and the other being when the ball is on the roof of your car. Starting with the bounce method. Okay, so I'm going to try and treat this tutorial as though this is your first time air dribbling, so that it's easier to follow for everyone. First off, I recommend using a training pack called Air Dribbles Wall and Ground by Iowa. Here's the code for it if you can't find it in the browse section. This training pack starts off by having the ball bounce right in front of your car. Now, I'd recommend that you turn ball cam off to practice these, so that you don't get the camera going straight up, but rather straight ahead so that you can see the ball and where you're going as well. To start your air dribble setup, you want to drive up to the ball, and once it is bounced once and is on its way back up into the air, you want to double jump into the ball as though you're trying to help it go even higher with its bounce. This is a very important step, as if your first touch on the ball isn't timed well enough, the ball isn't going to go where you want it to. So make sure you get your timing down to a T. As you are now already in the air because you used your double jump to help the ball into the air, you now need to follow the ball. If you already kind of know how to air dribble like off the walls and stuff, this part will be kind of natural, but for people that can't, let's go through it. To follow the ball through the air, you want to feather your boost button and angle your car so that you'll reach the ball at its highest point. If you go too fast at this point, you'll just hit the ball away, and that's not what we want. So feather your boost while still reaching the ball in time so that you get a soft first touch on the ball, almost like you're catching it in midair. Now make sure that you're making contact with the ball on its lower half. This allows you to raise the ball's height and speed, and also change its direction a lot easier. Also, a general rule of thumb is to try and keep your car vertical for more control, and more horizontal if you want the ball to go faster. Now that the setup is complete, you basically treat this like any other air dribble. Keep feathering your boost so that you can carry the ball on the nose of your car towards the goal. The more you practice and the better you get at this training pack has multiple shots that are further and further away from the goal, so that you have to carry the ball further and really hone your ground to air dribble skills. One final tip on this section is air rolling. Air rolling is a very confusing subject to cover and can be explained in many different ways, so I'll make it as easy to understand as I can for the sake of this tutorial. Have you ever started an air dribble with your car being the right side up, and when you make contact with it, this happens? This is because your tyres actually act differently with the ball than the rest of your car does. Think of it like trying to hit a baseball with a bat, and then trying to hit it with a pillow. So I recommend air rolling so that your car is at least upside down when you start getting good at your air dribbles. This makes it so that your tyres are completely out the way and won't interfere with your air dribble. Now I know aerials upside down can be tricky, especially if you haven't got a lot of experience doing so. But hey, listen, you want to get better, right? That's why you're here. So if you put in the effort, the fruits of your labour will be sweet, trust me. Okay, so we've covered the bounce to air dribble method. Now let's go over the dribble to air dribble, I guess you could call it. What I mean is that we're going to start our air dribble from having the ball on the roof of our car. Now this is definitely harder than the first method, so if you're determined to do this method, first things first, you need to know how to dribble. And you need to know how to dribble well. I say this purely because to pull this off, you need the ball to be at a certain point on your car, not just simply on top of it. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we start off by having the ball on the roof of our car. To pull off an effective air dribble this way, you want some pretty decent height, correct? So in this position, we want the ball to be sitting right in the center of our car. Not on the windshield, not near the back, not right near the front like you're doing a musty flick. No. Slap bang in the center. The reason behind this is because we want the ball to gain as much height as possible. And to do this, we're going to double jump with the ball in this position. Now comes another important factor. Timing your double jump here is very important. I'm going to hand you over to our live correspondent on the matter, Ollie. Take it away, Ollie. Thanks, Ollie. Okay, so I've got a controller overlay on so you can see my timing a little bit clearer. See how if I spam double jump, my car sort of just sticks to the ball and it doesn't go very high? This is bad. You don't want to do this. Also, if I leave too long between my double jumps, my car it does the same thing. It just sticks to the ball and it doesn't go very high. So what we want is we want the medium between these two things. So once the ball's popped up, we want the ball to go even higher and we want our car to be slightly under the ball and not too close to it, but we want it to be in a good position. So I'll show you what I mean. So after the first pop, we want our car to join the ball afterwards. You also don't want to be going too fast when you try this either, because it just makes it a lot harder. I want to say the timing for this is around about half a second, but it's definitely situational. So play around with your timing and you'll get a feel of it, and you won't have to literally time it every time. You can just sort of feel when you need to jump the second time. So basically, to summarize this part, you don't want to be going too fast, and you don't want your double jumps to be too close together or too far apart. So you're good height. And then once you're underneath the ball, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much wraps up how to time your double jump for your air dribble setup. Okay, back to Ollie in the studio. Thanks, Ollie. Okay, got that? So timing your double jumps for this setup is crucial for getting the right height on the ball. After the setup is done, again treat it as a run-of-the-mill air dribble, which I covered earlier in the video, but to summarize, the first touch on the ball needs to be quite soft to keep control of it. And remember, the rule of thumb is that for more control on the ball, keep your car more vertical, and for more speed, move your car more horizontal and use more boost to push the ball where you want to. Okay, that pretty much wraps up the tutorial. I really hope this video makes life easier for you guys learning this tedious mechanic, but as it is with everything in Rocket League, practice makes perfect. So don't give up, knuckle down, learn from your experiences. Okay, that's all I've got time for today, guys. So I've been Oliver, that is OLVR, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.